Ooh.
And it's thrown away, and it looks like he almost took a hit on one of them cheerleaders.
It was a great look, though, but he put a little bit too much on it.
As Ursline once again steps it up and out to Tim Pletko.
He misses the three-pointer.
The ball once again is rebounded by Ursline and results in 2 points. The Raiders need to get on the glass very badly tonight.
Yes, they do, and it shows so far in the second half. You know, with only 2 points, you can't do that against a tough Ursline Irish ball club. And once again, the Raiders taking the jump shot, and rebound by Ursline. The Raiders should probably call a timeout here just to get things straight over on the bench. A look there, a miss. Foster misses. Terrence Dawson calls for a stop. That's really going to hurt. With Terrence, their only really big player out there, that'll be his third foul.
Actually, they called it on Dion Artis.
As Warren head coach Frank Buba.
Big plus for the Raiders.
As Warren head coach Frank Buba steps out and calls timeout.
That'll be 2 on Artis. Boy, and a big break there for the Raiders.
Gentlemen, what do you suspect that head coach Frank Buba's telling the Raiders now in this timeout?
Well, if I was sitting over there, I'd tell you what, he'd probably be yelling right at the moment. And which is good, to fire up his players, because so far they've had no pizzazz coming out here in the third period.
Well, he's definitely telling them that they're gonna have to get on the blocks. They need to move the ball a lot more to get some more open plays like they just did at the first 2 possessions that they had.
And, you know, even a couple more passes on there just to find an open man and penetrate the ball. They must penetrate the ball against Ursline.
Yes.
They can't take the jump shots and afford nobody to be down in the paint and nobody to rebound for the Raiders.
Now, they can't expect just get inside on athletic ability alone. You know, these guys from Ursline, they have some size on them, you know. It's a little too difficult to get inside and just expect for something to happen. You have to make something happen, and right now they're not doing that.
I agree, Brian. When you're as big as a team inside as Ursline is, 6'5", 6'7", you need to depend on your speed. You need to be there first. You need to beat these guys on the glass, pull those rebounds down.
Frankfurt will be at the line for the Irish.
Ursline, they're not that quick, but they do have size, and what Harding is using to combat that size is their quickness.
Ursline looking very strong tonight from the free throw line.
And again, that's a key for victories. And a 3-second call on Alvin Jennings. And another turnover. And like we said before, costly turnovers will lose you a ball game.
You were like, what's up?
Ursline with some nice movement of the ball. Great defensive play by Alvin Jennings, who, just got stripped. Oh, he tries with the behind the back pass, but got blocked by Terrence. That was great. A little too much showtime and not enough fundamentals out there.
You can't do that. I don't care who you are. You can beat Tim Putko, but you can't go behind your back when it's this close of a ball game.
Alvin Jennings is showing very strong play tonight on both sides of the ball, especially his defensive game tonight.
And Terrence Dawson turns the ball over yet once again. Again, the fancy pass.
But Dawson once again recovers with the rebound.
Yeah, they have to convert on those layups that they expect to get some more points.
And the Irish think it's the NBA out here. Alvin Jennings with the three, and he's not pulled the Raiders within 3 points.
They're turning up their defensive pressure. I like to see that. Looks like Ursline's kind of stunned right now.
Once again, we see the slow down play of Ursline's we've been seeing all night tonight.
And the Raiders getting to the board there with Nate Adams.
That shot barely grabbed her in right there.
Once again, Adams did lead the Raiders in the first half with rebounds with 7. And the ball went off a player's foot, and it will be Marlon Ingram checking in for the Raiders, and it'll be Raider ball out of bounds underneath.
It's going in for Terrence Dawson. Oh, great out of bounds play by the Raiders.
As the Raiders seem to be regaining their strength now. Once again, Ursline tries to move the ball into the big man, number 40, Mark Frank.
That one seemed to go off the Raiders' number 52, Phil Perry. But since the ref was right there, and he saw Foster grab Perry, he figured, you know, let's give it to the Raiders.
See, that's something I'm glad to see the refs doing. They're letting them play this half. Uh-oh.
And the Raiders taking the lead.
Nice three by Dion Artis. Cutco returns with one of his own with the foul on Dion Artis, who go to the line for the 4-point play.
A little bit of taunting there by Tim Putko.
I think he wanted to show Dion that he's got a little three of his own, but
that'll be Dion's third foul.
And number 10, Tim Putko, will be at the line for Ursline. Tim, a former Warren G. Harding basketball standout, who has chosen to finish his high school career at Youngstown Ursline.
And he connects on the 4-point play. And the Irish once again with a 2-point lead. Lenowan's wide open down in the paint. Looks to put it up. Ursline was there. Off Ursline's foot. And they're going to give it to the Raiders. Good call by the refs.
He shouldn't have put that ball on the floor like that. He was so close that I think he should have just turned and shot.
Number 10, Aaron White, is back into the ball game for the Raiders.
Aaron with the ball on the side. Gives it to Nate. And they call that jump ball.
That'll be Irish on the possession arrow.
As Harding once again turns the ball over.
You know, it seems like once the Raiders take the lead, they just can't hold on to it.
Yeah, that 4-point play was a real momentum shifter.
As Ursline looks to set up something here.
Poltar pass again, turns it over. Raider ball. Now, so far, the Raiders from the free throw line this year have been halfway decent, shooting a total of 52%.
Nate Adams checking in for Phil Perry, who's going to be taking the ball out.
But it shows with the Raiders' opponents who went 142 to 191 with 74%.
A great look.
Terrence Dawson fails to make the shot. As the Raiders get caught in transition, there'll be a violation called.
And that'll be a foul on Alvin Jennings, his second.
As Ursline once again brings the ball down to the floor.
Putko trying to be fancy again, missing the shot. And the final rebound comes down to Nate Adams.
They're going to slow it down, try to make them play their game. Alvin brings it slowly up the floor. shifts it to Alvin. I'm sorry, Aaron, who puts it down low to Nate.
And a block will be called on the Irish. And that will be on Foster, and that's his third.
With 52 seconds left, Ursline is leading Harding 34-32.
And checking in for the Raiders, or for the Irish, is number 44, Mike Zalovic, in for Foster.
I'll tell you, they're going to have to make some real adjustments next quarter.
And the Raiders still looking to the jump shot. Out of bounds, Ursline's ball. The Raiders have to get a little more crisp with their passes. And a turnover by the Irish.
He tried to thread the needle on that pass, but
the ball's all over the place. Adams comes up with it.
And the Raiders score.
Great move.
Great defensive play here by the Raiders. Bringing it up toward his Poindexter. And a foul on Terrence Dawson. Frankfurt will be at the line. That'll be Dawson's third. So now the Raiders have two players with 3 fouls on the evening. Dawson and Artis. They have to be careful. Ingram will be checking back in for the Raiders once this first shot goes off. Frankfurt connects on the first.
Frankfurt to attempt his second shot with 10.9 seconds left in the third period.
Artis will be in for White.
The Raiders need to make an adjustment in their mental game tonight and try to breathe some life back into their offense and their defense.
The 2-point lead for the Irish once again with 8 seconds remaining in the period. Alvin Jennings takes a jump shot, connects, ties up the ball game. Putko looking to go deep. And going into the fourth period, we will have a tie game on score because of traveling violation. You know, 4 traveling violations in a game is not that bad, but it's not great. Dion Artis, a spectacular shot there for the Raiders.
As Harding once again takes the lead, 38.
It's that great Harding defense again. Alvin with the shot off the back iron.
And 2
great rebound attempts.
2 missed opportunities by the Raiders.
As they swing the ball out to Tim Putko.
And they're going to call the foul on Jennings.
Ursline fans looking for a technical, but obviously that isn't going to happen. As Alvin Jennings slaps the pad.
Obviously, Jennings frustrated with himself and not the official. The Ursline fans just need to quiet it down here.
And number 10, Tim Putko, will step up to the line for Ursline.
The next on the first to bring the Irish within 1. Foul situation not getting better for the Raiders here. 6-1. And with a tie ball game, the next Harding foul sends the Irish to the line, shooting 1-1.
Fernando with some nice handles on that one, giving it up to Nate.
Once again, the Irish move it to the big man.
Dishes it over to Putko. Back to Poindexter.
Great defense by the Raiders. Oh!
And a traveling violation is called.
Timeout will be taken by the Irish.
Once again,
Frank Kuba is irate at this point.
Once again, another poor call by the officials, and I once again side with Warren G. Harding head coach Frank Buba. No reason for the traveling violation
there at that point, and they called the traveling violation. How could they make a call like that? I'll never know. 20-second timeout was taken by the Irish.
The Raiders still have the lead 40-38, but they need to step it up.
Tim Putko inbound the ball for the Irish. The lead is still 2 by the Raiders. Shot by Foster doesn't go. A fight for the ball.
For the rebound.
Phillips comes up with it. Given to Artis, brings it down the floor. Turnover by Phillips.
Poindexter falls on the ball and calls timeout. This remain possession of the ball.
Ursline calls a timeout there. And one would think that that would be, a traveling violation, but unfortunately the refs always seem to see it different. And, not to be judgmental to the refs, guys, but, with calls like that, how can you win a ball game?
You can't.
Exactly my point.
You can't, Greg. That's the whole point. If the traveling doesn't occur, you don't call the traveling.
That's exactly my point that I'm making, Dave.
Okay, that'll be the first horn as the Raiders and Irish will bring it back out on the floor with 6:30 left in the fourth period.
See, they've made a change of players. I should say the Harding Raiders have.
Marlon Ingram into the game for the Raiders. Poindexter brings it down the floor. Passes it to Poltar. Back to Poindexter. Putko with the three-point attempt. Doesn't go.
And the Raiders recover.
Dion pushes the ball up the floor. Tim looks to put more pressure on him. Saw a little hint of a double team there for a minute. That should have been out of bounds.
Marlon Ingram with the recovery off the turnover. And finally a foul was called in favor of the Raiders.
If I'm not mistaken, that...
That'll be Frankfurt's second foul. Artis sinks the first free throw.
Frankfurt, a big man, 6 feet 7 inches tall, isn't afraid to use his size to step up to the ball.
That is true, Dave. And Artis connects on both free throws. So the Raiders capitalizing on the Ursline foul. And the foul situation still not improving. 6-2 in favor of the Irish.
Looks like Ursline's having some
Great
offensive
pressure
lapses
by
as
the Raiders.
Putko's trying to
And they barely,
dribble out.
excuse me, Brian, they barely got it over in time. Poltar with the shot. Cuts the Harding lead to 2.
Alvin sets up for the three. Off the rim. There goes that great defensive pressure again. And they call the push on Fernando Phillips.
The hand check call there was, oh my goodness. That'll be Phillips' third foul on the evening. And it'll send Putko to the line shooting the 1-and-1. The Irish are now in the bonus. Sinks the first, and he'll have another attempt. The Irish tie up the ball game.
Nice penetration by Nate and Dion.
And a foul is called. That'll send Nate Adams to the line, shooting 2.
With 5:05 left in this game, he really needs to make these.
Yes, he does. That'll be Foster's 4th foul in the evening. One more and he's gone. Adams misses the first free throw.
With Foster gone, I think they'd be able to capitalize on that side.
That's true, and penetrate a little more into the basket. Great defensive pressure by Dion Artis. Kick out the Poindexter. Into Poltar and a bounce and the bucket.
And the foul.
And that is a killer.
I think it's going to be on Terrence Dawson here. Let's see.
And that's on Terrence Dawson. That'll be his 4th foul. And that's a killer for the Raiders. And we'll have to see what Coach Frank Buba does about this one. The shot, extra shot there was missed. Artis bringing it down the floor.
Nice.
Rebound by Jennings, missed, and the rebound by Poltar.
Oh, they need to capitalize. They need to capitalize.
As Ursline moves it into the paint once more, and scores with 2 more points.
They really need some points to stop this run.
Oh, and no foul was called. And
there they
pick it
go.
up. And a turnover by the Irish. Raider possession.
I don't know what's happening to their defensive pressure. It seems like when they first started out in the half, it was there.
And Coach Frank Buba getting into it with the Ursline coach there, receiving words to each other. That'll be off Putko. Harding ball. Boy, and you can almost feel the tension in this place.
Yes, you can.
Owens puts up the shot. It doesn't go. The Raiders need a stop on defense here.
Putko once again trying to penetrate.
And once again, with Putko being fancy, that doesn't work in high school basketball. And the foul will be called on Tim Putko. That's Putko's second. Alvin Jennings to inbound the ball into Dion Artis, and it'll go back over to Jennings. Into Adams, takes the jump shot.
Great rebound. Ooh, they needed that.
Oh,
traveling.
Violation. Wow.
My words exactly.
And Coach Frank Buba is correct on that call. That one official is killing us. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, that's amazing.
I'll say. With 2:53 left in the fourth period, I think they're going to have to come up with some quick transition points to get back in this.
He's horrible. And that'll be the first horn in this 60-second timeout.
Regain their composure.
And that's one thing the Raiders must do tonight is keep their composure out on the floor.
The Raiders are looking good aside from the display
Horrendous
of
officiating.
yeah, exactly, Greg. I agree. The display of officiating tonight.
And one could say the Raiders are just getting homered tonight.
So
But we're still in a close contest, 44-46. Still is anybody's game.
Now, it seems like two of the three officials have been quiet so far tonight. But the one standing on your far left of the screen there is the one that is just absolutely killing the Raiders. Putco passes over to Poindexter.
close 5-second call.
As Ursline continues to move the ball and shave time off the clock.
Harding puts that defensive pressure back on.
Great defensive stanza here by the Raiders. All they need is that turnover by the Irish, and they'll be all right. Now, one thing, when the Raiders get the ball back, they must score on the offensive side of the floor. The Irish looking to just keep the ball away from the Raiders. That seems to be the scheme right now.
And their star method is working.
Frank Buba telling the Raiders that go get it. All the Irish want to do is run out the clock. And Terrence Thompson with the steal. Amazing. Passes to Nate Adams.
What? And one, baby.
Beautiful stuff by Nate Adams. And the bucket after coming up.
He's got to convert this one, though.
And that'll tie up the ball game and this to give the Raiders the lead. So the Irish choosing not to do anything on the offensive side of the ball is really going to hurt them in the long run. That foul was on Frankfurt, his third.
He really needs to relax on this shot so he can convert.
Yes, a must-make situation.
And he does.
And a
Timeout called by the Raiders. Great momentum shifter. Breaking the stall
Wow,
of
that was
Ursline.
great. Nate Adams, a 50% free throw shooter on the season. Proving he can make them in clutch shot situations.
I don't know about you boys, but I'm looking at a very exciting minute and 28 seconds here as this game comes to a close.
That is what I am saying, Dave.
No doubt.
And like we said in the beginning of the show, this is going to be a fight to the finish. Now, I'm sure Frank Buba's over there telling us players, just keep your composure, go out and play tough defense, and we can win this ball game.
Exactly, Greg. That would be the smart thing to be discussing now in the timeout. Might be too early to call, but you could be looking at overtime.
Yeah, that's true. Anytime you have a close game like this, overtime is always, a thought in the back of your head.
The Raiders are able to step up and work the glass here in the final minutes of the game. You have a very good chance of overtime.
I think that Harding's overtime experience with Cheney and other teams like that, I think that close games like this has prepared them.
Yeah, and it does. And especially with the Raiders at home against a home crowd, that always seems to motivate them towards the end of the game. The Raiders so far this season 2-1, and the only team to beat the Cheney Cowboys this season.
Let's see if they help. Let's see if they use that preparation tonight. Blocking foul on Dion Artis.
That'll be Dion Artis' fourth foul. And again, that official is the one that seems to be homering us throughout this contest. Dave, let's hear your thoughts about that one official.
That was a pointless foul, though. I think he could have. He should have kept his hands up. I think that was kind of. It was borderline.
Yeah, and it was.
I agree with Brian on the call, but once again, the Raiders with a costly mistake with 1:24 left, now tying the ball game up and sending a good free throw shooter like number 10, Tim Putko, to the line.
And Tim Putko with a rare miss on the second shot. Rebound by Terrence Dawson, given over to Dion Artis.
Harding really needs some ball movement on this one.
What a doozy of a slobber knocker this has turned out to be. We're once again tied up.
Yeah, quite a barn.
Oh, and no foul was called.
No foul. He's practically sitting on him.
And this is a very crucial defensive play here for the Raiders. They must stop the Irish.
With 45 seconds left in the game, it's tied up at 47.
Ursline seems to he's moving the ball quite well here. He's once again just trying to take seconds off the clock.
And Ursline seems to want to take that final shot here.
30 seconds.
Nate Adams.
Great steal. And the conversion.
Nate Adams gives the Raiders a 2-point lead here with 20 seconds remaining in the ballgame.
Ursline's put themselves in quite a hole now. With 16.9 seconds left, the Raiders are up by 2.
And it'll be a full timeout called by the Ursline Irish. Wow, this is going to be a great finish to a great game. And it proves that the SVC is once again the most dominant division in this area.
The question is, gentlemen, can the Raiders hold on to the lead that they've had so many times tonight?
Yeah, that is the question. And, no dumb fouls can be caused here by the Raiders, because automatically a foul sends the Irish to the line shooting 2. Now, one thing to point out here, the possession arrow is in favor of the Irish, so a jump ball automatically goes to them. But a good defensive stand here by the Raiders, and they can easily pull away with the victory here.
Yes. I see Ursline using their stall methods. It's kind of counted against them now.
I look for the Ursline Irish to go for the jugular here and swing it out to number 10, Tim Putko, for the 3.
Just a minute ago, time was on their side.
And that is a good point. Last year they did that here, and Tim Putko missed the shot. Now they can't afford to have that happen again. The Irish definitely looking for the lead. No foul can be caused by beyond the 3-point arc. All
With
point
5
back
seconds
up.
with the 3. It's off. And he calls a foul.
Oh, my
3
God.
shots
Oh my goodness.
with 4 seconds left.
Oh my. It'll be a 3-shot foul. Oh my goodness. And in the words of Dick Vitale, this is just unbelievable. Oh my, Poindexter, a good free throw shooter, will be at the line shooting 3 shots.
You can't tell me he's not feeling pressure right now. He converts the first one.
And the Raiders will call a timeout here.
The Raiders call a timeout to try to ice him.
Wow, and that is a stake right through the hearts of the Raiders there. Wow.
How quickly the tides have turned.
Yes, it has, Brian. And if you're Frank Boone and the Raiders, you have to look for the worst situation here. You know, if they make it, they have to call a timeout and get the ball back right off the rebound and immediately call a timeout, and hopefully there'll be enough time to get the ball in and get a shot off. But the worst case scenario you're looking for here is an overtime.
The Raiders have the capability to pull this off if they would just slow the ball down and when they're on defense and in the paint, concentrate on the ball and not get so physical.
And I'm wondering, how did they call a foul there? I mean, I'm a bit confused on that. I didn't see exactly where the contact was, but obviously the ref saw it.
The officiating tonight has been unbelievably horrible by these three referees. Calls have been outlandish and have cost the Raiders many points throughout tonight's game.
Well, Brian, here it
to
is.
the line.
Poindexter, he was shooting another two, and
He misses his second shot. So the best they can do is tie the game to go into overtime.
Ball to the line. Now, if he misses the shot, the Raiders must get the rebound here.
And he converts. And Tim Cutco fouls him. It's on the floor, though. It's on the floor.
Oh, my. It's the sixth foul by the Irish. Not send the Raiders to the line. And the Raiders calling a 20-second timeout to try and talk things over here. Well, the Raiders with the golden opportunity there. Poindexter with the missed free throw. This is amazing. What a slobber knocker this has turned into be.
The crowd really into this game, I'll tell you.
And, you know, and we should say something great about the Harding fans here tonight. The student section has been absolutely great for the Raiders. Great student support out here tonight. Great fan support by the parents and fans crowd over on this side. It's been truly a whole effort by the Warren City.
Yes, it has.
Shot. He takes the three.
Oh.
Wow. And Dave predicted earlier, this contest is going into overtime.
Well, I called it, Greg and Brian. I guess you guys owe me that $500 we bet on because we're in overtime, 49-49.
Let's take a little bit to talk about it. Foul situation right now. The opposite team will be going to the line shooting the ball. The Irish will be shooting two shots, and the Raiders will be shooting right now.
As we start overtime.
Possession will be in favor of the Irish to carry out overtime here. So which means the Raiders will have to. Overtime will be 4 minutes here.
I don't know what. All I can say on that one is wow.
And that will be an Irish bucket there. Nice movement by the Raiders.
Oh, they need to convert on those.
Bound by Poltar. It'll be Ursline ball out of bounds.
Harding needs to put something together here on defense in order to get the ball back. This is a crucial time.
They do need a defensive stop here, Dave. You are correct about that.
The key here is not to let the big man inside beat him. As Tim Pletko shoots but fails on the attempt, Ursline comes back to score.
Poindexter there with the bucket, and the Ursline Irish have a 4-point lead. They have to get the ball across the court, and oh my God, they didn't call the foul on Pletko. Alvin Jennings with the steal.
Great save by Alvin Jennings.
Nate Adams with the penetration. Oh! And he'll be shooting 2 shots.
He really needs to convert on these to keep the Raiders in this game.
Yes, he does, and they can't. And they have to stop the Irish when they get back on defense.
Seems like foul trouble has been haunting them all game.
Yeah, it has. And Dave, why don't you comment on that a little bit?
What's that, Greg?
The foul trouble by the Raiders. Oh, before you do that, though, Glenn Owens checks in for the Raiders.
Once again, Raiders just have to be sharp and use their vision on the court and concentrate on the ball.
Raiders now
Once
down
again,
by
as
2.
Ursline brings the ball up the court with the lead man, Tim Pletko. And as Ursline looks to penetrate but swings back out.
Looks like they're looking to stall again.
Both big men for the teams, Terrence Dawson and Greg Foster, both with 4 fouls, so neither of them can afford the foul here in this situation. Ursline once again looking to control the clock here, going into the overtime. Poltar over to Poindexter. And they don't call the 3-second call. Frank Buba is irate at this point in time.
So he's got to be hard as a coach when you see your team out there.
And they try and dunk. They're going to call a foul on Glenn Owens. That will send the Irish to the line with Frankfurt shooting 2. And I don't know what to say, Brian. I mean, the Raiders can't foul in this kind of situation because it's a 2-shot foul every time they foul. He connects on the first to give the Irish a 3-point lead.
With that conversion, the Raiders are down by 4 with a minute 35 left in the game. Great ball movement.
And Nate Adams with a beautiful shot there to bring the Raiders within 2 once again.
Pushing it up the floor to
Once
Tim
again,
Pletko.
Ursline's in that offensive situation just to wear the clock down right now. This is where the Raiders need to really concentrate on the ball, and
they need to start going after the ball here, or they can't win they can't win the game unless they get the ball back. Is what I'm trying to say right now.
As you can tell, Ursline's coaches have worked with them with their foul shooting.
Oh my goodness! He went over and back. Frank Bubel was right there, and they didn't call it. 45 seconds remaining. Ursline looking to penetrate. Frankfurt with the shot. Artist bringing it down the floor. Terrence Dawson kicks it out to Jennings. Jennings for 3. Oh!
Can't convert. In and out.
And a foul by Glenn Owens. Oh my. The Raiders now down by 4, sending the Irish to the line, shooting 2 with Frankfurt. First shot's up, and he misses. He connects on the second one to give the Irish a 5-point lead. The Raiders really need to step it up and make a basket here.
With 20 seconds left, it's going to be tough. If they convert there, leave 16.6 seconds left.
The Raiders down by 3. Frank Buva calls the timeout. It'll be a full timeout. And here's the situation. Once the Irish inbound the ball, the Raiders have to foul in this situation because they could just run out the clock very easily. And down by 3, you have to hope that they will miss both free throws. And, you have to second guess, the officials. Would we be in this situation if it wouldn't be for the officials tonight?
The officiating hasn't been all the Raiders' problems, although tonight
But I tell you,
the biggest problem I saw tonight was the beating of the Raiders on the boards.
And Dave, you're going to have that with a big team like the Irish.
boards and go ahead.
Oh no, you first.
Oh, thank you. I was about to say boards and foul shots is what has killed them in this game.
Yeah, but one thing you have to look at, the Raiders have played very aggressively throughout this season.
Yes, they have, Greg.
And that has worked to their advantage, and that's why they have stayed in this ball game the whole time. As far as skill-wise, I think these two teams match up very evenly. Except for the height advantage of the Irish, these two teams rank right up there as two of the top teams in the area.
I agree with that.
Okay, and here we go with Ursline inbounding the ball.
Oh, and they have to foul here. Oh, my goodness. They don't know what to do. They don't call a foul. Oh, my. And a timeout by the Irish almost by
What a close call there.
1 second more off the clock would have been a 10-second violation. Be sure to join us this Thursday night as the Lady Raiders of Warren Harding take on the SVC rival Cardinal Mooney Cardinals, one of the two teams that beat them earlier this season. The Lady Raiders come into this town with a record of 9-2, and that'll truly be another big battle. The Lady Raiders also have a chance to win the SVC if they can win this game. They must continue to win the rest of their SVC games of the season, but this is a must-win situation for the Lady Raiders. That'll be Thursday night here at the Warren G. Harding Fieldhouse, and it will be tape-delayed broadcast shown on Friday night.
It promises to be a great contest.
And you can always expect great things when you have I myself doing the starting lineups and our co-anchor here, Dave Basilega, doing the play-by-play announcing from the scorer's table.
The Lady Raiders have done unbelievably well. The Lady Raiders have done unbelievably well this year under the direction of head coach P.J. Notar and the JV under the direction of John Lacey, who is undefeated to this point. And here we go.
A foul, and that'll send Poltard to the line to shoot two.
Leaving 6.5 seconds left in the game.
And the Raiders have to hope that he misses both here, or they're pretty much out of the ball game here. With only 6.5 seconds left, there is not much you can do.
Yeah, it's got to be tough as a coach to see your team matched with them like that, and then see the game just slip from your fingers.
Now with a win here, this would take the Raiders to 2-1 in the SVC, and a loss here would take them to 1-2. On the season coming into tonight, the Raiders are 4-4. He connects on both, giving the Irish a 5-point lead. Alvin Jennings spots up. The three doesn't go. Terrence Dawson will shoot, and that'll be the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. And all I can say here is this is absolutely unbelievable. Once again, the Raiders
remind you how Miami has gotten back into this game.